right, see if I can kind of get across just how soft and fluffy this is. I mean, it's butter soft. Butter soft, velvety. Even the neck area up here, which is normally, you know, the thicker, harder to work with sections of the hide, it's soft as it can be. The flank down here, or the over the hip, which is about as thick as the neck, same thing. Nice and soft. Then the sides of the flank, my goodness, that's as soft as you can. How could you possibly get buckskin any better than that? I don't know. And this hide, I mean, it's as soft and silky as it is. It was done on a stretcher. It was on a frame. And normally that's not nearly as soft as if you hand soften. How can it get any? It just can't get any softer. And this hide has got to be smoked yet. Since it said it was on a stretcher. This is one that had been smoked, and it was hand softened. And there again, I mean, these are just incredibly soft, flexible, beautiful buckskin. Beautiful buckskin. I don't know how you get any better than that. Another one, a little bit thicker, heavier than the other hide. But there again, silky, silky, silky soft. Just great. They are just really good, wonderful quality buckskin. A slightly thinner one. Look at that. Then this one, which is a little bit larger, thicker hide, and it was on a stretcher. There again, it's just butter soft. Butter soft. And the technique that I employed here to make these and brain tanning, or as a fellow called it, no-brainer. You can, some common methods of brain tanning, of course, is using brains itself, which today is getting to be kind of a pain in the butt in a lot of places. You can't find the brains. They're harder to find than everything else. It's just ridiculous how hard they are to find. And the brains from some critters, deer and what have you, there is a chance of, you know, having CWD or some kind of, it could be a potential health problem. And the other is you can use eggs. Well, eggs lately have been quite expensive. And almost as hard to find as brains. But then you've got soap and oil. So I decided that I'm going to use the soap and oil because that is the easiest to come by. And if I can get top quality results out of using soap and oil, I don't need to go with all the trouble of using brains or the expense and trouble of using eggs. So I made up some homemade lye and lard soap, let it sit and cure for 6 weeks, and then I use a ratio of about between 1.5 ounces and 2 ounces of that homemade bar soap, graded up into a gallon of water. And to that gallon of water, I add 1/2 cup of neat's foot oil, and that's what these been tanned in, and the results are fantastic. So I just don't know how you could get better quality buckskin safe. I really don't. Soap and oil buckskin. Well, I've got 16 hides to do. I've got 3 of them done right now, so let's get busy on another. So this is part of the homemade soap, the lye and lard soap that Diane and I made a little over 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. And this is what the lye soap, lye and lard soap, 1.5 to 2 ounces of this, grated up and mixed in a gallon of water with Dixie Moo, with it, with a little pup around here, into everything. Anyway, we'll take this and grate it up. Just protect my little fingers here. So just gonna grate this up. Now to my grated up homemade lye and lard soap. I'm going to add a gallon of water. So, get us a gallon of water. I'm going to turn the heat on. I want to get good and warm. Into that gallon of water, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of neat's foot oil. So start to mix this up a little bit. Yeah, it's plenty hot. Plenty warm. And I'll take my trusty little mixer. Liquid is cooled down up now. Pour it into a 5-gallon bucket. Now I'm going to take a piece of rawhide, put it down in my bucket. Let it start soaking up that soap and oil. And then as the hide soaks up that moisture, you can start working, pushing that stiff rawhide a little bit further on down in there. Takes about 30-40 minutes for it to soak up enough. It's down, it's soaked up a good foot. You'd like to eat that, wouldn't you? Yeah, you would. Hey, come here, man. Would you like to eat that? Huh? Would you like to eat that? Huh? Would you like to eat that? I believe you would. I believe you would. Yeah, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. Aren't you, huh? 5-gallon bucket. Took my rolled up doe hide and set it down in there. And then we're just rehydrating and soften it up a little bit. So the hide's had it's been in this bucket about 20 minutes maybe. And it's softened up enough. Still being stiff as a poker. It's starting to soften up and get to where you can actually stretch it a little bit. I'm just going to sit here for a little while and just kind of tug around on it a little bit. You put that in there, do you? You want to put that in here, do you? The first part of it that went in the solution is nice and soft, stretchy. Amazing how it went from being hard as a brick, stiff as a poker, like a piece of plywood, nice and soft, stretchy like it is in part of it. That's the last part of the hide that sank down in there. It's still stiff. And that part right there, though, boy, that is nice. That is nice, soft, stretchy. Dick, take it back here. Don't you go run now. Coyote get you. You wouldn't like that. You would not like that if a coyote got you. Alright, the hide has been soaking for just a few minutes. But as you can see, there's some dark areas here that it has not soaked into yet. Those areas will need to be stretched until they turn white. And they will. But I will stretch and soak until the whole hide is nice and white and soft like that. So, I've got it pretty much it's really rehydrating very well. Looking really good. And I'm going to leave it in my soap and oil solution overnight. I took my hide out of its bath that it's been in there for overnight. I'm going to take it with the flesh side out. Drape it over the beam here. Draped over the back side here. much at all. Spread it out. Then I'm going to take the neck, we'll bring it up over, let it hang down the front. Start rolling it in. I'm going to make my rolls pretty tight. You want to get this initial roll very good, as good as you possibly can. This is the first Saturday of spring. Boy, the gun club over there is busy, busy, busy. It's a first Saturday and it's a pretty day. A lot of people got itchy trigger fingers. And get out and scratch. Just roll your little donuts in toward the middle here. Get it rolled in there pretty good. Then I'm going to take a small stick and start slowly twisting it. You don't want to put too much pressure too fast and cause your donuts to slip. They're really wet. So to begin with, if it does slip, it's no big deal, you know. Redo it. Anyway, to begin with, do it rather slowly. The Wringing does two things. Dries it out a little bit, of course. And there it is, it's slipping big time. Said it's a small hide. And the smaller the hide, the harder they are to get to roll into your donut. You don't have enough to work with. Time or two. Then the bigger hides, you got plenty to work with. They don't tend to slip on you like these little ones. I use the fleshing beam, start breaking open the hide pretty good before I put it on a stretcher. Or if I'm going to hand soften it, this is part of it. But one thing that's very important when you're doing this, save you a lot of time in the long run. If you find a wet spot, for heaven's sake, take the time to get your fleshing knife and squeegee that water out of there. It'll save you time in the long run, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to keep it in my frame, keep it down fairly low. I've got it laced up into the frame now, so I've got to start stretching it. And I've used this fairly small stretcher pretty much to begin with. Well, actually, I use it pretty much all the way through. But first thing I want to do, get around. I'm putting a lot of pressure here. I'm going to stretch out and soften these edges a little bit where they're starting to dry first. Really good drying conditions here today, so I've got to make sure that none of this gets away from me. So you want to get a pattern in what you're doing so you're not skipping something or going over one area more than you need to. So work with a pattern. Now this hide was tight in that frame when I started. pretty much going around the edge. Like I said, get yourself a pattern. And with this small headed tool, you put a lot of pressure in a small area, which is really stretching it out. I'm putting a heck of a lot of pressure on this thing. Said, get yourself a pattern. You don't miss anything. Now, I did not sew up the holes in this one, which I usually do. I decided not to in this case. I am putting a lot of pressure on this thing. And you got to keep this up till it's dry. Gracious. Now, as it starts to dry a little bit, you definitely want that surface to get hard. I find the best thing to do that with is pumice stone. You can't overdo this. You can certainly underdo it. If there is such a thing as seed to produce a salt buckskin, it's the liberal usage something like a pumice stone. This is a little bit of grain. And you definitely want to braid both sides. Keep that surface from getting hard on you, and that prevents the interior the hide from drying right. Don't drop your pumice. And I will use this tool also, but instead of it being rounded and smooth here, I got it cut off flat. It's flat across here, so that leaves an abrasive edge on each side. And that works not only as a stretcher, but it also abrades that surface a little bit. So this one not only stretches it, it also abrades that surface. If you want to have good soft buckskin, one key for sure is keep both surfaces abraded as you work your hide until it dries. This is the hair side. I'm using this stretcher that got the abrasive, a little bit of an abrasive edge on it. Work over this sucker. I can't stretch enough the use of the something like a pumice stone. It smooths out that surface. Breaks up that hard surface that won't let the interior of your hide dry soft. To have a really good soft hide, you gotta break up that surface. So I keep alternating between stretching and braiding. Always looking for that hard spot. You keep that broke up. Almost done. Almost dry. I've got a couple of damp areas back in here. This is over the hip. Over the hips and over the backbone. These thick portions behind. They dry a little bit slow. Keep moving up. Feeling pretty good. We're at the springs back. That's powder dry. Very much dry. You can try and get it. Crumple it up, and it springs right back. It's dry. Dry and soft. So let's go ahead and take it off the frame. So now that one is finished. I mean, super soft. Look at that. Even the thick neck part. It's now ready for smoking. Soap and oil. It works good. I gotta rig me up a smoker for smoking my buckskins. So I gotta come out here in the woods and cut me a few poles. Well, I got my tripod done now. So I gotta find a 2-point place that I can hook this and it'll hang the straightest. So this hole here. It's a little bit breezy to be doing this, but it's smoking all right. But as you can see, in the thinner areas, the smoke is coming through, the color's coming through good. Not so the thicker area. In places it is. Okay. I need to turn over. Hooks out a little. Plugs out a little. Okay. If we can get her turned inside out here now. Now we got one finished buckskin. And we got another hide smoking. First side's already done. Doing the second side now. Now I am gluing down the edges. And the glued up sack works a lot better than the hand sewn. You don't lose near as much smoke. A little bit of smoke losing right there is through holes that are in it that I've got plugged up. But it is fast. Take a color. Now there might be many reasons why I would choose to hand soften rather than frame soften. One of those would be just the sheer size of the hide itself. Like this one, it's a small hide. So I'm not sure I really even want to take the time to fool with lacing it into a frame or not. Now this little hide, I've decided I'm going to hand soften it. And there may be several reasons why I choose to hand soften rather than soften on the frame. One, of course, is size. If they're small, I generally just don't take the effort to put them on frame. But regardless of whether I'm going to frame or whether I'm going to hand soften it, whichever, first thing I do is I get it and I pull it out. I start trying to pull things out. Start stretching it out. Get most of that brown out. Stretch it back sort of white looking. And I utilize that here on my lashing beam to start stretching it out a little bit, and I'm looking for those wet spots. And when you find a wet spot, a place that didn't ring out quite well enough, it's to your good, your benefit. Squeegee that moisture out of there. This takes you a few seconds. Squeegee out that excess moisture right now. It might take you hours to get rid of it, but just your stretching process or your softening process. By all means, look for places that's got that didn't ring out quite as good as some of it. So I'm choosing to hand soften this one. And hand soften, the main tool that you use is just your hands. Just keep pulling it first one direction or another. But another reason, other than just size, it might be the drying conditions on that day. I like to use a frame when I've got really good drying conditions, when it's sunny, and hopefully sunny and a little bit breezy. That's the best time in the world to frame soften won't. But on a day like today, I mean, it's damp, it's cool, it rained all night, high humidity, it's not good drying conditions. So by hand, once you place one into the frame, you're pretty much obligated yourself to stay with that hide. The wind's a howling out there until it's completely dry. But by hand softening, if you want to take a break, you can. I put it in a plastic bag, just lay it out. If it won't be quite a while, I'll put it in the refrigerator. But otherwise, I'll just put it in a plastic bag and lay it around till I get to it again. So, that's my reason today. I have two reasons, actually. One, it is small, and the other, drying conditions are not very good. And for hand softening, I use a variety of things. And one of them that's kind of not conventional that I like to use is actually, this is nothing but a steel framing square set in a vise. But it worked wonderful to not only to soften, but to abrade the surface. And abrading that surface is extremely important to wind up with soft skin. So, and I will use the same little tools that I used to frame soften one to run over maybe individual spot, a particular spot. If I'm hand softening, I'll take the tool and I'll set it in the floor and handle it down, and I'll just take it just like I do here with this. I'll just work it over the edge, but the framing square in that vise works wonders. And I will use a steel cable also. The steel cable, both just like this frame here, or framing square, it abrades and stretches. So probably the steel cable is a really excellent tool. So I got my cable mounted here. And the cable, like I said, it does a superb job of both softening and abrading. And remember, abrading that surface, periodically take the time to abrade the surface as it dries while you're softening it as it dries. Well, that is a key to having really good, soft, flexible hides. I might sit around and watch TV or something and use not just my arms, but my legs and your whole body to help stretch on this. Okay, after I don't know how long, pretty good while. What we've got is a small buckskin, or doe hide actually, that is soft beyond description. It is butter soft. So it doesn't matter whether you're using a stretcher or hand softening like this one. With enough effort and enough time, you can come up with butter soft buckskin. Like I said, this is soap and oil, handmade lard and lye soap, and neat's foot oil. And it's a method of brain tanning with a no-brain. it's a no-brainer brain tan. But look, I mean, it is just silky soft. Silky soft. Of course, it's got to be smoked next. And you're smoking, how dark and what color you wind up with depends upon a couple of things. The intensity of your smoke, how thick your smoke is, how much smoke you got rolling, how tight you've rolled this in or sewed or glued this into a sack that traps that thick smoke in there, and that smoke is permeating through the hide. But if you got a lot of holes around it, you got a lot of smoke's escaping, it takes forever for the smoke to penetrate. But depending upon how thick your smoke is, there's 3 different hides with 3 different colors. It just depends. These 2 lighter ones were at 30 minutes with a hand sewed, they were into a hand sewn sack. This one, with, goodness, got all the fuzz on it. This one was 30 minutes with a glued up sack. So, how tight the sack is and how long you leave it in that smoke and how thick your smoke is. You know, how dense it is. Depends on what color of buckskin you wind up with. But you take this beautifully soft white buckskin, smoke it, then you wind up with equally soft and luxurious smoked buckskin. So that's how I did it. It's a lot of work. Do not attempt it unless you set it. First of all, you need to enjoy doing it. If you don't enjoy doing it, it just becomes work. Because there is a lot of effort goes into this, a lot of effort. But the results are quite satisfying, quite gratifying actually. So this is my 4th one. I got the 5th one going right now. And I've got a total of 16. So if I got 4 finished, I'm 25% of the way through. Now, I'm not saying that my way is the only way, that's for sure. 'Cause there's a gazillion ways out there. Just get on YouTube and look around. You'll see a lot of ways a lot of people are doing it. But I'm telling you, this method, what I used here, absolutely will turn out top quality buckskin. I don't know how in the world you could get any better. It's just beautiful, it's soft, flexible. It's just, it's beautiful buckskin. How you could get any better, I do not know. But anyway, that's how I do it. It worked. And you might want to give it a try, and if you do it, it'll work for you too. But you've got to put out the effort, the time and the effort. And once you start softening, you got to keep softening until it's finished. You got to work at it hard until it's finished. And every once in a while stop and abrade both sides of that hide with something like a pumice stone. That pumice stone, my goodness, I mean, without that, I just don't believe you could, without a braid in each side, you'll never wind up with that super soft, luxurious buckskin. You might wind up with usable buckskin, that's for sure. But without the abrading, you won't have the super results that you get if you braid it. But anyway, if you decide to try that method, good luck. Turkey season's just around the corner. I got a Kibler Fowler supposed to be delivered today, but knowing the post office, I highly doubt it. But anyway, I'll try to get that Fowler assembled, put together enough to possibly try to get a turkey with it. I don't think I got enough time to totally finish it, but it don't have to be finished. All it's got to be shootable. So, anyway, turkey season's coming up. Hopefully I can get after him with one of my flintlocks. Talk soon. Yeah, big old gobbler. Right out in front of the Quigley. With about a dozen hens. And he ran the old gobbler that don't have a tail off a few minutes ago. All winter there'd been 7 gobblers kind of hanging together, and one without a tail. He was right there with him. But now that it's showtime, one of them with a tail run him off.